Radiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips it down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm not a philosophizer, but every once in a while I try to come with something that might be a little inspirational. So here's a thought for today. Champions don't negotiate with their standards. The standard isn't about being great when it's convenient. It's about being great when it's not. Because at the end of the day, there's no room at the top for anyone who picks comfort over consistency. The author of that quote is unknown, but when I saw it, I really, really liked it. That's my philosophizer thought, dodgeball throwback, quote of the day for you fine folks. And when I say today's show is loaded, I can honestly say since we've gone to 2 hours, I always have way more content than we need. I honestly need no news to happen, typically for like 2 or 3 shows, but constant news happens, which is phenomenal, but it's always a loaded show. Today might be the most loaded show we have. We've got press conferences from D. Shorts to Snow to Simpson from yesterday, football coaches speaking for the first time that we hadn't heard from ever in some cases in a long time, in the case of Simpson. All right, some quick recruiting updates as well. Matt Rule had some interesting things to say. We got one more Matt Rule clip to get to from the previous interview that we were dissecting. He did another interview with Urban Meyer yesterday, had some interesting thoughts from that. And at the top of the hour, all right, Derek Ruth, a young man who's been through an unfortunate accident through his life, and his parents have been amazing. It's an amazing story. It's an inspirational story. He is the Joel and Jeff Makovicka's cousin. And so I had been kind of interacting with him in the fall. And then Coach Osborne actually sent me an email about him because he knows the family as well. All right. He's like, hey, what do you think about bringing them on for an interview? I think that'd be phenomenal. So Derek and his parents, and they've written the book, The 8-Minute Flight here. And it's an amazing story. And you'll get to hear from him, his parents. And then during that hour, that noon hour, Coach Osborne's going to come in and talk as well. Joel Makovicka is going to come in and talk as well. Noon to 1 is going to be an amazing story and an absolutely loaded hour. So 11 to noon, if you hadn't heard leading up to that, is pretty loaded as well. All right, a couple of things real quick because Nebraska has a new general manager, a new football GM. And it was interesting because, well, I love getting responses from fans on certain things. All right, so this is at HUS1KER. All right, on X. The coaching staff is now on par with Ohio State and Michigan, and the wins will come. Satterfield is a very good coach, but the OC position has improved tremendously. Defensive coordinator, good enough to be the DC of the Buffalo Bills. Eckler is a proven special teams coach. And actually, Matt Rule said, I think it was him and Phil Snow said, maybe it was Phil Snow that said it, after they interviewed Eckler, they looked at each other as like, this dude would be a home run hire as our special teams coordinator. So Nebraska keeps making improvements, noticeable improvements. Another fan said, and this is per the talent on the team, which we've talked about a lot in this offseason with the recruiting class, the transfer portal class, and things that they're doing with his actual roster. This is at David Curry. So it's at DCURRIE825 on X. I'm in Atlanta. So I was in Atlanta last fall. I saw Notre Dame up close, Georgia Tech 3 times, and Georgia 4 times. So he lives in Atlanta. Nebraska may be close to Georgia Tech. Let me see. Nebraska may be close to Georgia Tech, but Tech is really good when Haynes King was healthy, their quarterback. Dillon is very similar in a different way. Nebraska is not close to Georgia or Notre Dame on talent, which I think is a fair assessment, especially Georgia. Right, Georgia and Texas and Oregon, Ohio State are those 4 are kind of at another level. Even Alabama. Alabama just didn't have the experience last year to go with the talent. We did play Ohio State, so we're close because we played them close down to the wire, had the lead with 7 minutes to go. All right, Alabama, Ohio State. all right, may have the advantage talent-wise, but we are getting on par with some of those other playoff caliber type teams when it comes to the roster. So fans are believing that we're getting close. If we're not already there talent-wise, success-wise, we'll see. Wins and loss-wise, we'll see. But talent-wise, we are getting close to on par with those teams that are college football playoff type teams. Our coaching roster, okay, our coaching offensive, defensive, special teams coordinator trio, along with Matt Rule, is getting up there amongst some of the best in the nation. So fans are starting to believe some of this as well. All right. And we're going to get to the new GM here in a minute. There was actually some notes that I came across because we went through a bunch of whole Troy Dannon's clips that he did in his most recent interview. And somehow I entirely missed these notes. So I sent them to myself as a reminder for today. And I want to correct myself on one thing. We said the UCLA game for Nebraska was after a bye week for the Huskers. It was after a bye week for UCLA. Nebraska's second bye week actually went into the USC game. So I wanted to self-correct ourselves. Love that English there, Jake, on that. But Troy also said, just like the Hawk Center, their indoor practice facility does now, Memorial Stadium will have red end zones going forward. He said, and I quote, "We underutilize red, and I don't understand it. Red is a strong color," end quote. He also said the road signs that take you to Memorial Stadium should be red in the future. What are your thoughts on that? The end zones in Memorial Stadium will be red in the near future. We're not utilizing red enough. It's a strong color. I didn't quote it, but at some point he said it's intimidating as well. What are your thoughts on that? Because I got to be honest with you. When the old uniform, I think it was large in part when Pelini was the coach, it was like alternating light green, dark green, light green, dark. I didn't like that. I never said a word because who freaking cares? Just go play football. But I never liked it. But I like the idea of having red end zones. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the opposite of that. I love the mismatching green. Going back and forth. I thought that made Nebraska Stadium unique or the field unique, and that's something to look forward to. The red end zones is just, it's going to take some while to get used to. I like it. I mean, they've done it before, obviously decades ago, and I thought that looked pretty cool. But as of right now, when I see it, I think bowl game, because that's generally when we see Nebraska with a red end zone.
Yep.
But I do agree with him. I mean, I know he said like they need to shine the stadium even brighter red all the time. The strong color of red, and I think a lot of people probably have come up with an idea that red street signs going toward the stadium would be very cool. So I like it. Embrace it as much as you can. You see that anywhere, and it's not just that red's a strong color. I mean, you see this anywhere. If your color is orange and you're Illinois, use orange. If you're Carolina blue at North Carolina, and so I do like that part of it, but. Not that it matters too much, but it'll take a little bit getting used to the red end zones because I've grown up without them.
We agree on the red end zones. We don't disagree a lot. We need to disagree more. We disagree on the alternating dark, light green field. I never liked it, but you liked it.
I loved it.
That's
yeah.
all right. I'm actually looking around in here. Dude, I am a man, and I don't observe my surroundings very, very much, as most men tend to do. I never realized how much red is in here before.
That's right.
I just sitting here for 2 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week. Who would notice such a thing over the past few months? But I actually like the amount of red that's in here. I'm sure that's not by any given accident. That's obviously on purpose here at the Ticket. All right, before we dive into the press conferences from yesterday, Matt Rule defending again on Urban Meyer's podcast, not playing insanely tough non-conference schedules. I wanted to put a button on something that we need to get to, hadn't got to, but the actual updates on some of the other Husker sports, and then we're going to get back into football. All right, women's bowling, after going 11-0 over this past weekend, the number one Nebraska bowling team won the Big Red Invitational, tallying a total pinfall of 12,234 with an average of 218.5. Again, what's your bowling average?
About 120.
Oh, God, you could add mine and yours. Mine's like 85. So we would be 205 combined.
Yeah.
We would not cut it in the bowling ranks. All right. Four Huskers finished in the top 15 for individual performances. 3 members of the Big Red finished on the all-tournament team. All right. The Huskers returned to the lanes April 4th and 5th at the NCAA Regionals. All right. Husker wrestling. They wrap up their regular season. They mollywop the Boilermakers of Purdue 35-6 this past weekend. Behind 7 bonus point wins, the Nebraska wrestling team took down Purdue 35-6 this past weekend, closing the regular season with a victory. All right, Purdue fell to 10-6 overall, 3-5 in the Big Ten as the Big Red claimed 8 bouts, and Nebraska heads to the Big Ten championship off a 2-dual win streak. The number 5 Huskers are 11-3, 6-2 in the Big Ten. Will finish tied for third in the conference standings as Lenny Pinto and Ridge Levitt make their marks with dominant Tech Falls. All right, and 6-2. Those 2 losses, by the way, are 2 Penn State. So talk about quality losses. Sound like an SEC guy. All right, in the final bout of the night, the conference duel closed at 149. Number 4 Ridge Levitt faced Isaac Rubble, putting up an action-packed first period, scoring 21 in the first 3 minutes. That's not basketball, ladies and gentlemen. This is in wrestling. All right. The senior notched his 4th Tech Fall of the season. He's 21-5 on the year with a 29-point win. The Big Red conclude their regular season. All right, I already talked about the Boilermakers' schedule and record. The Huskers finished tied for third with Minnesota in the Big Ten standings behind Iowa and Penn State. After an off week, Nebraska will begin its postseason with a Big Ten championship in Evanston, Illinois. The 2-day tournament begins session 1 on Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m. and will be broadcast on the Big Ten Network. Session 2 is slated for 7 p.m. Central Time on Saturday, and sessions 3 and 4 will take place on Sunday, March 9th. All right, every Wednesday, check out DP here on the ticket. He does one-on-one with DP. Yesterday, he brought on wrestling coach Mark Manning. He brought on the tennis coach. He likes to bring on a lot of these other sports coaches, and I think it's phenomenal. I like to talk about as many sports as I possibly can as well. You probably noticed that. All right, but the Huskers women's tennis team this past weekend swept at the Flames. The Huskers notched their 10th win this past weekend, taking down the Liberty Flames 7-0 with the victory. The number 36. Apparently, they go past the top 25 in tennis. Now, number 36, Nebraska women's tennis team improved to 10-1, while the Flames fell to 4-6. After the Sunday sweep, conference play is up next for Nebraska. The Big Red continues its homestand after an off weekend, opening Big Ten play, hosting Michigan and Michigan State. The Huskers take on number 5 Michigan on Friday, March 7th. All right, so they have a chance to probably hop into the top 25 if they can take down number 5 Michigan. So just an update. All right, women's golf is going on this whole entire week. You got beach volleyball, track and field, softball. Baseball is obviously going on. Men's gymnastics, swimming and diving. All right, let's see. I want to give a shout out to as many sports as I can. Keep your eyes open for women's golf as well. Women's basketball, as we know. So these are all the sports that are going on this whole next week. Most of these events take place on Friday, Saturday, Sundays, you might expect. So if you want to follow any of those Nebraska teams, look them up. Real easy to find it online. But I want to give a shout out and keep talking as many Husker sports as we can. And we've mentioned this before, but you can never mention this too much. Going back to the bowling team, the best bowlers in the nation. All right, Nebraska owns the most NCAA Title VI and is the only school to make the NCAA championship tournament every year since bowling became a sanctioned sport in 2003, 2004. All right. Did you watch the press conferences yesterday, Jake? Or were you too busy producing shows?
I was pretty busy producing shows, but I heard a little bit of them.
So before my first ever 2-hour show, I forgot to mention this. Jake put out something on X, and he called it the Bach Block.
That's
11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Bach Block. He's got the Adam Carriker show at least 4 days a week. All right, and then DP and Steve Taylor on Wednesdays. The Bach Block, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then the captain is 1 to 3 Monday through Friday. So if you're a gigantic fan of producer Jake, the Bach Block, no free shout outs, Jake. All right, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday here on the ticket. It's officially been dubbed the Bach Block. All right. I keep forgetting to do that, but I've been wanting to shout that out because I saw that tweet like a month ago, and I'm like, that's phenomenal, the Bach Block. I love that. All right. New Nebraska assistant coach Phil Snow says he has no doubt. What are your thoughts on this? If Matt Rule had been given 4 more years with the Carolina Panthers, 4 more on top of 2, that's 6, he would have won. Rule was fired 5 games into his 3rd season with a record of 11-27. Now, we don't have to spend a ton of time on this, but do you agree that he would have won had he been given essentially 6 years at Carolina?
Well, I always say, if and he said the same thing, if he could redo it and he knew that it was going to be, he's one of those few coaches that just didn't have a quarterback. I mean, that's tough in the NFL, but to go your entire opportunity, your entire chance of being an NFL coach without a designated quarterback, that's tough. So, I mean, if he could do it over again, I'm sure he would have drafted a quarterback in year 1, year 2, and then you start to kind of measure and pair that coach, that GM with that quarterback and get that opportunity. So It's tough to say. I mean, Carolina has been a tough place to win for a lot of coaches, not just Matt Rule.
Yep.
So it's just tough to say. I couldn't give you a definitive answer. I would hope so, but I don't know.
Why not? I want to know the answer right now. You should have every answer, Jake. Come on.
Well, if they draft the wrong quarterback, then no. If you draft the right quarterback, maybe.
I just thought that was, excuse me, an interesting point of view. And I love that Phil Snow obviously has Matt Rule's back. I will say this. That's one of the uglier endings I've seen between a coach and an organization. There was not fuzzy feelings between Coach Rule and the Panthers owner specifically when that ended. Wasn't there a lawsuit filed at one point from Coach Rule towards the Panthers? Am I wrong on that? I don't know. I think I saw a headline a couple of years ago, and then I've never seen anything since. So might have to double check and verify on that. But I just thought that was an interesting statement from Coach Snow. All right. Oh, here it is. What I was referencing earlier. Phil Snow, who helped with interviews for the special teams coordinator, said after talking with Mike Eckler that he and Matt Rule both looked at him as probably being, and I quote, a home run hire, end quote. Nebraska associate head coach Phil Snow says head coach Matt Rule talked in coaching staff's meetings last week, and I quote, about 6 to 7 hours straight, end quote, about the progress he wants to see within the Husker football program. Think about that. 6 to 7 hours straight. I assume there's like snack breaks and bathroom breaks in there, but oh my goodness. Like the man, I've sat here and I've talked. I am jealous of zero college football coaches in the job they have to do right now and everything that it entails. I will not sit here and say that any college football coaching job has ever been easy, and I don't think it's ever been tougher than it is right now. And I've often wondered, how's Matt Rule going to do with this? Because there's a lot of guys who've left being a head coach and to do other things, and I'm not saying that I've heard anything like that. In fact, everything I see says the opposite. When I talked with Troy Dannon at the Outland Trophy thing, he was like, dude, Matt is like driven. He is loving this. I still have a hard time believing that he's loving this, but like everything, there was one press conference in December where he looked really tired. You know, maybe he's human. I don't know. Everything else screams he is just driven. Like there's certain people I know that have a fire inside of them that just like propels them forward and drives them forward. I've had that a lot of my life. Sometimes I wish I could, just take a chill pill sometimes, but it is what it is. And it's a good thing. It can be a curse if you let it grow, the fire grow a little too wild. But I think with Matt Rule, I think it's there. I think it's genuine, and I think he can't help it. And I think right now he actually is enjoying it. I think it's almost like this is the biggest challenge I've ever had in my entire life, and we're going to do this. And that's how it comes across to me. Think about being in a meeting for 6-7 hours straight, talking about everything you want to see get better. Now, maybe one topic was talked about for 2 hours. I don't know. Maybe there was 100 topics talked about for 10 minutes. I don't even know if that math tracks to 6-7 hours, but you get my point. All right. Here's some other notes. John Butler will call the defense, but Phil Snow will be involved with the game plan. It will be Butler's defense. This is per Phil Snow's press conference yesterday. He turned down the D coordinator position back when Rule first got here. Phil Snow did. And I've talked about on the show, it was his, okay, at the time, originally. His job to have if he wanted it. Didn't think he would have the energy to go and recruit. I just talked about how much being a head coach and think about these coordinators outside of the special teams coordinator. Make sure you got some guys who can return. And generally, if you got good wide receivers, DBs, you're going to find somebody in there. But a long snapper, punter, kicker. Beyond that, I don't know how much you're going to actually have to recruit. I've had like 5 people call me while I'm trying to talk here. And all my notes are on my phone. I will get back to you, everybody. Stop calling me. I'm on air. All right, let's see here. He also plans on the team making a big jump. We keep hearing it. All right. They are going to make third down packages more like they are in the NFL, which Rule referenced not long after Coach White and Coach Knighton left for Florida State and Coach Butler was announced as the D coordinator. Rule referenced that. He wanted to change some things specifically in how they defend the pass, make it more NFL type oriented, and he addressed third down specifically. He wants to do more NFL type things, hence Butler being the perfect defensive coordinator to do that. All right, Rule talked. I already did that. 6-7 hours, already got that. Phil Snow will start with helping the defensive ends and edge rushers. but will make his way around to each group, all right, throughout the year. Red zone, third downs must be better. And again, these are things Rule has talked about in the past as well. Remember that UCLA game? They were 7 for 7 on their first 7 third down attempts. I remember that. I don't know why that sticks out to me.
That's right.
6 of them were passes. 1 was like a 45-yard run from the quarterback. All right, during the interview process, he knew Mike Eckler would be a home run higher. All right, any thoughts on that before I move on to D Short? Actually, we'll take a break and we'll talk about D Shorts. But before we take a break, any of your reaction to any of those things there, Jake?
Well, I just wanted to ask you quick because I think it sounds great, right? Third down, aggressive defense. That's what we want.
There's another call. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Are you not listening to my show, people? Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
But if you remember the Arizona State game against Texas, they had third down and long or fourth down and long. It was
Yes.
they could win it. All they needed was one more stop, and they went hyper aggressive. And Texas ended up scoring and winning that ball game. So
4th and 20, I think, or something like that. Yep.
So what are your kind of thoughts? I mean, because when you hear as a fan, you're like, oh, aggressive, third down, great, that's what we want. But sometimes it can hurt you a little bit.
Well, I'm just an aggressive guy. That's just I'm a defensive guy. Like, I told my high school coach I didn't want to play quarterback anymore because I was like, I can throw. If I'm going to throw, I'm going to go play baseball. If I'm going to play football, I want to hit people. Like, that's just me. As you know, I've coached youth sports for years. In basketball, we're going to press. We're going to press. We're going to attack. In football, we're going to blitz. Which is what we're going to do. In baseball, we're going to steal. Like, that's just me. That's just an aggressive mindset. So I love that. To your point, though, it can leave you extended or exposed potentially on the back end, which is why I've always advocated. You need pass rushers. You need to be able to get after the quarterback without being exposed on the back end. Does that make sense? So I love the attacking, aggressive mindset. It's just something that gets me excited. And I think it's something that will reverberate through the players. It will reverberate as part of the culture of the defense, the locker room, the team as a whole. But for me, you've also got to be smart so you're not left exposed on the back end. It's hard for me not to get excited, but I try to keep, a well-rounded mind on these things. Anything else?
No. That's it. That's just kind of my first thoughts. And obviously, you got a strong secondary coming back. Some people didn't love how they maybe regressed a little bit last year, but that'll be a big point in the third down defense. If they're going to be aggressive, your DBs better be able to hold it down.
So here's what I'll tell you: when you have specific, and every team has specific third down packages, but I've been on teams that every team has in college. You got your base, you got your nickel, short yardage goal line. Like, every team has that. There are teams that would then have a dime, which you take another linebacker off and you have basically a 6 DB. There were teams that would have like a speed nickel or a speed dime. So you got the extra DB or 2. And if you got 2 really good linebackers, you don't want to take them off the field. So you might just have nickel, which means 5 DBs, dime means 6. So it depends on how many good linebackers you have, especially in coverage. Levante David told me a story about how Bo had a defense with 6 DBs. And they were like, wait, we're not coming off the field. So Will and Levante went and talked to Bo and said, we're not coming off the field. You're keeping us both on the field. And Bo said, all right, you 2 are good enough to stay on. So we'll keep you 2 on. We'll go with 5 DBs, but you better cover. You better freaking cover. And when we blitz, you better get home. And it was pretty successful for him, obviously. So, but then you have like your speed packages up front, where a lot of times, like Lorenzo Alexander, one of the most intriguing stories I've ever seen in my life. He went Redskins as a 300-plus pound offensive lineman. Then he transitioned to D-line. Then he lost a ton of weight. He was like 257. He went to linebacker. And he was our special team stud. Okay, I think he even went to the Pro Bowl one year just as a special teamer. And he was one of our team captains as a special teamer. And then all of a sudden, one year, Jacob Burney, the guy I've talked about, who scared the crap out of me when I first got to the team and I got traded, I'm like, oh, it's this guy, great. He's like, let's bring him in. Instead of just having nickel, let's have speed nickel, which means 2 of you big fat defensive linemen come off the field, and let's put Brian Arakpo at one end, and let's put Lorenzo Alexander at the other end, and let's see what they can do. And then he continued to do that, and he went to Buffalo, and he led the NFL in sacks one year. I want to say he had like 11, 12 sacks. So there are guys who can come in, Demario Williams was not a 4-down defensive lineman. Oh, I forget, what he got, 8, 10 sacks my redshirt freshman year. He put his hand in the dirt on third downs, and he almost became unblockable. This guy who was listed at 225, which was a lie. I watched him get on the scale at 202, and then he'd turn around and say 225, and they'd write it down. But I was standing right there, right behind him. I saw the scale. All of a sudden, couldn't be blocked on third down. But so if you can put guys in the right spots, the right situations, because the The downside is that we had Vonnie Holliday with the Redskins, and at that point, one of the best defense to ever do it in the league, but he was like 280 when he got to us. And we'd go third down, we'd put him at the 3 technique. I remember playing the Cowboys when they had Andre Giroud, the big, huge guard. Oh, he was like 385. He was like 6'8". He was the number 2 overall pick out of Texas. So Giroud was the biggest center in the league at like 340. I can't think of his name, but he was
Levi
huge.
Brown or
no,
something wrong.
I can't think of it. But he was like 385, like the most vicious double team in the league. And as soon as they saw Vonnie come in on nickel, they would audible to power wherever he was at, and they double team him. And they got big plays off of it. So you got to be smart about it too. You can put guys in the right situations, but you've got to be able to adjust, and you've got to be able to take advantage of what the other team is doing, what they're not doing. If they're taking advantage of something you're doing, can you make – I talk about in-game adjustments a lot. Like, that's an in-game adjustment that needs to be made. So, I don't know. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and is currently searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Hey, bestie. Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own.
Always in the driver's seat, huh?
Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot.
Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop.
Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild has a delicious way for you to enjoy beef brisket. It's our open-faced hot beef sandwich. We start with our grilled Texas toast. Add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes. Load them up with some tender Hog Wild beef brisket and top it off with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Hey farmers, do you run a precision planting monitor in your planter tractor? Boyd Farm Outfitters is hosting our annual 2020 Monitor Clinic at the Holthus Center in York on Wednesday, March 19th. They'll run through everything on the monitor, from basic setup to more complex downforce settings and everything in between. You'll learn agronomy principles behind some of the monitor settings and will leave refreshed and ready to plant. Representatives from Precision Planting will be on hand to handle any questions that you can throw at them. Visit BoykFarmOutfitters.com for all the details and to reserve your spot.
Attention comedy fans, get ready for a night of non-stop laughs at the brand new Howler House Comedy Club. Brought to you by the team behind Kincaidor Brewing, Sideshow Spirits, and Beer House, this underground comedy experience is happening beneath Beer House in the heart of the Haymarket. Enjoy Jason Vest and Layla Ingalls from The Kill Tony Show, as well as Will C this Friday. Shows are at 6:30 and 9 p.m. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for the brand new Howler House Comedy Club, opening this Friday at 8th and P.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Somebody asked for my phone number because they said they wanted to call me. They felt left out. And I was seriously tempted, without telling Jake, to just give his number away on air. But I won't do that to Jake. He'd probably answer. He's such a nice guy. I got some guy doing the Ohio State signal at me, so I'll just throw the bones at him.
There you go.
All right. Segment 2 of the Adam Carriker Show on The Ticket is sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue. Now with 2 locations at 11th and Cornhusker, and as of this month, now open at 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs, a half-smoked chicken, and much, much more, plus incredible sides. Get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker, and now also at 61st and Apples Way, just off Highway 2 by Lowe's. All right, let's get to what Phil Simpson and D Shorts had to say in some of their press conference comments yesterday as well. D Shorts, when asked what traits he looks for in a receiver, he said size, speed, and hip fluidity, but skills, ball skills, but made a point to emphasize toughness. He wants receivers who are tough and finish plays, aka blocking. I think it was Dane Key was doing a public speaking event this past week, and he was asked about blocking. He's like, watch my film. I love to block. I've not specifically watched that part on film, admittedly, so I might go check it out now. All right, but I like to hear that. D Short said it's hard not to like Dylan. Dylan was in the gym before 6 a.m. and taking boxing lessons from one of their strength coaches. In fact, he said that he thought he had beat everybody in at 6 a.m. to work out. He looks up, and there's Dylan over there doing boxing lessons with one of the strength coaches. So, he's at the basketball games. He's out there. He's at the volleyball games. He's at the hockey games. Him and Emmett are everywhere. They're putting videos online. As long as you're there at 6 a.m. putting in the work, hey, like I've said before, if it's part of the package and that package leads to wins, I'm okay with that. All right, Phil Simpson. Let's see here. One word I wrote down. Phenomenal. Phenomenal takes, phenomenal things he had to say. As far as in-depth discussions, I think we know a decent amount about Phil. He's a phenomenal recruiter, a good coach, but I didn't have anything major beyond that. Did you hear anything beyond that or any notes beyond that from what he had to say yesterday? Basically, we kind of know what to expect from his time in the past. He's a phenomenal recruiter. He's a good coach. I focus more on the guys we hadn't really heard from. Do you have anything beyond that, Jake?
I haven't seen too much from him, but yeah, no.
Okay. Final thought on the press conference. The one word that Phil Snow and D Short specifically kept saying was adapt. We must learn to adapt. Players need to adapt, and so on. I mean, my Lord, being a college football coach right now, you have to adapt. And if you're a player in this ever-changing landscape of college football, you've got to be able to adapt as well. So that makes a whole lot of sense to me. All right. Via multiple people yesterday, but the post I'm going to read is at Pete Thamel. Sources: Nebraska is hiring New England Patriots front office executive Pat Stewart as the program's new general manager. Stewart is the personnel director in New England and worked with the Carolina Panthers as vice president of player personnel. He brings both a front office background and 17 years as an NFL scout. He worked in scouting in New England from 2007 to 2017 as a national scout for the Philadelphia Eagles, 18 and 19, and in Carolina from 20 to 2023. He worked with Nebraska coach Matt Rule of both Western Carolina and Temple early in their careers. He'll run the player personnel department at Nebraska. All right, what are your thoughts initially on the new GM? Did you think we needed one? Were you surprised when you heard this? And what do you think of the individual that we brought in, Jake?
Well, I mean, obviously with Sean Payton already there, or Patton, you already, I felt like he was doing pretty well with the what they've done in the transfer portal this last year. Obviously, you always want more talent, right? So you can't say he's done the best job. You always want to do a little bit more. But obviously, I mean, the coup of bringing Dylan Raiola here to begin with was quite impressive. But so it's good. But I just see it as good because you're not losing Patton. He's just moving to a different role. Sounds like they'll probably be working somewhat close together in that. And so at least you bring in a guy again that has had previous working experience with Matt Rule. There's not a huge adjustment to deal with there, and a guy that has a lot of experience working with personnel at the highest level of football in the NFL. So you're getting a guy directly off the New England Patriots staff. He was the director of pro personnel there. So I like it. I think GM is an ever growing as far as how its importance to college football goes. And so it makes a lot of sense to me. And it's one of those things like when the special teams coordinator job opens and you say, well, who should it be? And I have like 3 or 4 names I know, and there's probably, a lot of other guys that should work out for it. I don't have a whole lot of idea of who should be their GM or who shouldn't be there, but he seems to have a pretty darn good resume. And by the way, that special teams coordinator hire actually did work. One of the 3 or 4 guys I did know ended up being the guy they went with. But in any case, looks like at least the resume stands out. Like he's not, it's not handing off a job to somebody that's not ready for it.
All right, so I have to step away for a second. Derek, Ruth, and his family are at the wrong location, so I've got to call them and help them figure out how to get here. But Sean Patton's new role. You've got some details on it. Why don't you tell the fine folks that, take it into break, and then we could give more of a reaction. I'll give more of my reaction to the new GM after that break, okay? All
right, that works perfectly. So Patton is again, former GM for Nebraska, and his first couple of years with Matt Rule. His new title is Assistant Athletic Director for Strategic Initiatives. This will see him focus on areas such as contract negotiations, analytics, and financial planning within the athletic department. So again, feels like they're just at least, finding a new role for him, getting more people involved. In my mind, they would be working pretty closely together because it sounds like Patton is still kind of in that area. So just as we've seen this offseason with a lot of the staff that Matt Rule has brought in, they're not short on resume, and so the idea is, can they work together? And you got a lot of smart people in the room. Hopefully they can figure it out. But as Adam said, we got to take a quick break. We will be back with more on the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting book. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Opportunity can knock at any moment. When it does, you can't afford to miss a call. That's why you need a business phone system that gives your team the flexibility to answer anytime, anywhere. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, we make it easy to equip your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. We enhance the efficiency technology provides while putting people first in all we do. That's why we meet your business right where you are by offering customized office technology solutions that meet your specific needs. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger. And future stronger you can get started now by saving $28 or more when you join today. You in? We have all the best in-class equipment you could ever need to keep stepping it up. And free fitness training to help you mix up your routine. Plus, most clubs are open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends February 28th. See Home Club for details.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Chaos here on the Adam Carriker Show. Here's what you got to know about me. All right. I love the unpredictability. The fact that my phone's been blowing up while I'm doing my show, the only thing that upsets me about that is you must not be watching my show. What is going on? All right, but beyond that, it actually doesn't bother me. I have 6 kids. You got to understand, all between ages of 7 and 15. Like, it's not even organized chaos. It's just utter chaos, and we're just used to it. That's what we call it around our house. Utter chaos that we're used to. It's not organized chaos. The zone defense quit working a long time ago. I tried some zone blitzes. I don't even know what that means with kids, but those didn't work either. So here's what's going on. Derek and his family, they're going to be a little bit late. They went to a different location, but that's okay. As I have mentioned before, I've always got plenty to talk about. We still need to finish reacting to the press conferences. We've actually got a Matt Rule clip that we haven't gotten to yet from the last interview. Hopefully they can be here around 12:15. And I am excited. Like, Derek's got an amazing story. It's an unfortunate accident that happened to him, but the positivity that they're trying to take out of it and hopefully impact other people's lives. And their book, I'm going to plug it. Okay, The 8-Minute Flight, the miraculous story of the boy who chose Earth instead of heaven, Derek Ruth. I can't wait to talk about this. And like I said, they're the cousin of Joel and Jeff Makovicka. I believe it's Joel that's going to be joining us today along with Coach Osborne, who ultimately kind of connected. I'd already been talking to them, but he's like, hey, why don't you do an actual interview with them? And so he's going to be here as well. It's going to be a little bit chaotic. We'll see how it goes, but let's light this candle. All right. So you enlightened the good folks on Sean Patton's new job and job description. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Let me find the article that I had pulled up and I'd been dissecting on our new GM. So give me 1 second here. All right, Nebraska is making and this article is Tim Vergas. All right, so shout out to Tim. Nebraska is making a significant change to his football personnel hierarchy. ESPN's Pete Thamel. I read all those tweets yesterday. First reported Nebraska Wednesday that Nebraska was hiring New England Patriots pro personnel director Pat Stewart, and he's joining the program as the general manager, replacing Sean Patton, who is moving to a new role, which Jake already described to you. When you learn about Pat, admittedly, I don't know every single person and every single football facility. I was like, I don't know who this is. Okay, and you read about it, and you read his resume, and you read the things he's accomplished and his experience and everything he's done. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like, this seems like like Mike Eckler being the special teams coach, this seems like a home run hire. It allows Sean Patton to focus on other things and allows him to, you said contract negotiations and things of that nature, right, Jake?
Yeah.
So the things that go into college football, the more we can take off the head coach's plate and the more other people can do, the better we're going to be. And these are people that Matt Rule trusts. That's why he brings out some folks are like, oh, he only brings in his friends and things of that nature. Or another way to look at it is he brings in people he trusts. And if it doesn't work out, he's shown he's willing to make a change. So you can't just bring in anybody willy-nilly. Like, it's hard if you're running a big business like college football or any big business in general to delegate and trust other people to do things. That's the hardest thing when you're going from being a small business to a big business. That's the hardest thing to do because you're trusting somebody to do something that you've done for quite a while and you're very good at. But in order to be more successful with the ever-changing landscape of business in general or college football and the business of college football, you have to be able to delegate. You can't just do that with any Yahoo off the street. It's got to be people you trust. And so this is someone that Matt Rule has a history with for a long time, someone he trusts. And I mean, look at his resume. How do you have an issue with this? All right. In total, Stewart spent 17 years as an NFL scout to pair with front office experience. Besides his time with Rule in Carolina, he worked with Nebraska's head coach at Western Carolina. All right. The Carolina Panthers was original, but also Western Carolina and Temple in his early years. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Anything else to add real quick while I kind of comb through this here, Jake?
No, it's just interesting. You look at his, he spent a long time, I think 2007 through 2017 with the Patriots, which obviously was a pretty successful run for the Patriots there.
Yep.
And, started, I think, as a scout there, an area scout in 2009. Looks like just one later became a pro scout 2013, and then was an area scout back in 2014 up until 2017 when he left to join the Eagles. And then he served as a national scout for 2 years with them before joining the Panthers as director of player personnel, working with Matt Rule. And then when when Matt Rule's tenure came to a close, that's when he was let go there and made his way back to the Patriots. So just a lot of experience again, working at the highest level in various roles, and has worked with Matt Rule before. And you go back to those scouting when you're looking at a GM. Very much obviously important to know what you're putting together. Those years as a scout certainly probably help.
Absolutely. And I like the fact, I mean, sometimes you can get too many cooks in the kitchen, but that's why Matt Rule's bringing in people he trusts. I like the fact that he can delegate more things to more people because they can focus on those things and be better at them. All right. The more things one person has to do, the harder it is to be better at those things. As long as there's trustworthy people and they're good at their job, the more you can delegate, the more that can be done, the better they can do at their job they can do at their specific task that they've been delegated to do. So I like that as well. You're bringing in a guy, how do you argue with the resume? Sean Patton, I don't think he was doing a bad job. I think Rule saw an opportunity to make them Nebraska football better, and he's taken that opportunity. All right, and one final thought on Patton, and I quote, this is per Sean Patton. And I quote, "It's really just a fun way to stay on top of young guys." Talking about the scout team, I grade every one of their days so that I get a sense of how they're developing, how they're coming along, and it allows me to engage the younger players on the scout team with regard to their development. Sometimes guys end up on scout team and feel like they're lost. Very true. Very true. Well, I lived on scout team for 3 seasons of college football, and so I know what it's like. So with the roster limits and the amount of reps and development that Matt Rule wants to do, they had 3 full teams going in their practices. It was like 7-on-7 over here. It was inside run drill over here. It was red zone over here. 3 full team sessions going. It's going to be hard to do that now, okay, just with the 105 roster limit. But the more reps guys can get, the more eyeballs they can have, the more feedback they can get, the better they're going to get. Also, I'm going to be honest with you. When it's on scout team, it's hard to stay engaged. You're not learning your team's plays. You're not learning what the opposing team is doing. You show up, you lift. Sometimes you do or don't go to meetings. You go to the practice field, and you're running plays that are drawn up on a card. And it's hard. And you don't feel like you're getting better. When you have someone specifically paying attention to you, you feel more valued. You got to keep in mind, why don't you go hard every day no matter what? Well, some people are wired like that. But people are going to still be people, and it makes it more challenging. If someone's there grading you, giving you feedback, you're going to do 2 things. You will do better in practice, and you will develop better and faster, and that's something Nebraska needs to do. It's hard when you're just going to practice and lift every day for a year. It's a challenge. I love lifting. I love football, and it was hard for me. I was halfway across America from everything and everyone I'd ever known as well, so that can create additional challenges. But for me, I like this. I like this move a lot. I like who we're bringing in, Pat Stewart. I like the fact that Patton's going to be able to focus on these other areas, which is going to help development of players, whether it be on the scout team. It's going to be as far as evaluating things and also contract negotiations, which is now a part of college football. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we might play that last Matt Rule clip that we had. They just texted me, said they'll be here at about 12:04. They still got to park and walk in, so probably be about 12:15. But again, loaded hour, loaded show at the top of the hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Attention! For the entire month of February, Acres has John Deere packaged oil and filters for 15% off. John Deere engineers its oil filters specifically for large ag equipment and commercial and residential mowers. With premium materials, these filters meet the unique demands of your farm and acreage. Following a strict maintenance routine with premium John Deere oil and filters ensures your equipment will run efficiently for years. Visit your local Acres store to start shopping today.
You hungry? You know you are. We got chicken fingers, crunchy, fries are golden crispy, baby. Yo, don't forget about the cane sauce, baby. Ooh, right here's the spot. Hello.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
In today's digital world, you can never be too cautious when it comes to your security. Cyber attacks are affecting more businesses every day. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we understand the stress and impact a cyber attack can have, not just on your bottom line, but on your ability to serve your customers and protect their trust. That's why we are passionate about safeguarding your business. From real-time threat monitoring to advanced security protocols, we help keep your data safe, allowing you to focus on what matters most. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Allow me to get a bit sappy. For women, jewelry isn't just a gift. It's a timeless symbol of love and appreciation. You have to get this right. No fleeting trends or gadgets will make the impact. Every time she wears it, every time she gets a compliment, you win. Trust me, guys. You'll get your money worth. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Attention comedy fans, get ready for a night of non-stop laughs at the brand new Howler House Comedy Club. Brought to you by the team behind Carriker Brewing, Sideshow Spirits, and Beer House, this underground comedy experience is happening beneath Beer House in the heart of the Haymarket. Enjoy Jason Vest and Layla Ingalls from The Kill Tony Show, as well as Will C this Friday. Shows are at 6:30 and 9 p.m. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for the brand new Howler House Comedy Club, opening this Friday at 8th and P.
February is American Heart Month, and with heart disease as the #1 leading cause of death in Nebraska, now is the best time to start thinking about your health. Maintaining a healthy blood pressure is one of the best ways to avoid heart disease, and the blood pressure screening is fast, easy, and can be free. The best way to get screened is at your yearly wellness visit with your doctor. For more information and ways to get a blood pressure screening, search Chronic Disease Nebraska. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Ladies and gentlemen, full disclosure, I took a lot of pre-workout today, so I cannot be held responsible for whatever happens the remainder of this show. All right. While Derek and his family are on their way, Coach Osborne, Joe Makovicka are on their way as well. Oklahoma has hired Senior Bowl Executive Director and former NFL scout Jim Nagy as their next football general manager. This is what everybody's doing in college football. You have to do it. 4 years ago, had you ever heard of a general manager in college football?
No.
I hadn't either. Nagy is expected to build out a support staff that will mirror an NFL front office, a source told On3 Sports. He will have an assistant GM and roles focused on recruiting in high school and in college as well. What are your thoughts? And our guests just arrived, so we'll keep this segment short so we can get to them. All right. But what are your thoughts on teams having to hire general managers in order for their college football teams just to function and be able to have a chance to compete with everyone else?
It's fascinating. Obviously, we talk about all the challenges of the modern transfer portal era and guys going after tampering or whatever. What it used to be called now, it's just kind of is the thing now.
Recruiting?
Yeah,
is that what it's called now?
I suppose. But no, it makes sense, and it has made sense. I think Nebraska, they brought that in with the Matt Rule era. Trying to think if they had a GM before that, but in any case, it makes sense. And again, there are these differences that we've had. Sean Payton, was it
Sean Patton?
No, I was trying to think of Josh Pate and Matt Rule kind of had these conversations about how it differs from the NFL. but that doesn't make it not more like a pro league, right? The NFL is kind of built in its different way, but
definitely.
The GM position certainly makes you feel. And it's funny because for years we said, well, because in Nebraska, you don't have a pro team. So Nebraska's basically your pro team.
Can we still say that?
Now Nebraska's just kind of your pro team.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, a couple of quick recruiting updates, and then we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with our guests that have arrived here in studio. All right, 4-star offensive tackle Deacon Smith has locked in official visits to Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Tennessee. We need to upgrade the trenches much sooner rather than later, as we all know. In 2026, 3-star cornerback Dominic Turnbull, 6'2", 165 pounds, is now favored to land at Nebraska over the Michigan Wolverines. 52% chance he lands with the Big Red, according to what I'm looking at right here, right now. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to share Derek Ruth's amazing story, his book, and everything else. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with 0 down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
If you're looking for a pre-owned tractor to upgrade your operation this year, you'll find a wide selection at your local Landmark Implement. We'll work with you to find the right equipment for all your needs at a price that's right for you. All backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network. During the month of February, take advantage of a 24-month waiver on select 6, 7, 8, or 9 series tractors. Visit landmarkimp.com to see our complete inventory or stop by your local Landmark location today and experience the Landmark difference.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I have never sat in this seat, and it gives me a whole new perspective. I kind of like it better. Jay, can I sit here going, I can see out there. I can see your pretty face. I can see what's going on. Can I sit here from now on going forward? Is that allowed?
As long as you keep telling me I have a pretty face. Yeah, sure.
You have a beautiful, pretty face. All right. Our special guests have arrived, and we're excited to have them here. Derek Ruth has a very, very special story. His mom, Jennifer, is here as well. His dad, Royce, is here. So I can't wait to dive into this, get to know you all a little bit as well. Right out the gate. All right. How did you all, and Derek, you specifically, how did you become a fan of Nebraska football? What drew you to the team and the game as well?
I was literally a fan from birth. I was born into a true Husker family. In 1995, the year I was born, two of my uncles were playing football for the Cornhuskers. So the love and tradition was instilled in myself from a very young age. As I grew older and continued to attend games, the atmosphere at Memorial Stadium was contagious. The 90,000-plus fan base created a unique and exciting experience, and I couldn't help but remain a Husker fan. That caused me to dream big in hopes to one day carry on the legacy of playing for the Huskers.
I'll be honest with you. I listened to that, and I can relate to that a lot. I grew up watching your uncles. Obviously, they're not my uncles, but I grew up watching Joel and Jeff Makovicka and all that. And I think there's a lot of Husker fans. Jake can probably relate to that. The love of Husker football starts at a young age, and it's very, very exciting. And we're going to get into more of your story in just a second. But right out the top, just so people know who are just tuning in, he had an unfortunate accident. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the recovery. We're going to talk about the support staff, the support system. We're going to talk about his book. All right, again, that's The 8-Minute Flight. All right, The 8-Minute Flight's the name of the book. Derek Ruth, The Miraculous Story of the Boy Who Chose Earth Instead of Heaven. Okay, but I want to chat with Mom and Dad real quick. So obviously you see him. He's becoming a gigantic Husker fan at a very young age. All right, are you big Husker fans? I see you're rocking the Nebraska polo, but are you big Husker fans? Did you help brainwash him at all?
I helped him a little bit. You know, I watched the Huskers back in the 80s and kind of dated myself. But, when I think of Turner Gill, Mike Rozier, Irving Fryer, those are the guys I used to watch growing up. And then, of course, everything that Nebraska did in the 90s. I mean, yeah, I was a huge Husker fan, so probably had a little bit of influence on Derek through the years.
Just a smidge?
Yeah, just a little bit.
What about Mom here?
Well, yes, I guess I was a Husker fan growing up. So I was the oldest and then had 4 younger brothers.
Okay.
So I don't think I had a choice but to watch football every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in our home. So I think it was just ingrained, instilled in being from Nebraska. I think you always had pride in knowing that you had a really good football program inside the state.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And I think my daughters can relate.
Yeah.
I have one daughter who loves football. The rest, they're just like Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the fall. We're watching football. Okay, Dad.
Yeah.
But my other daughter gets excited, but the other 4, not so much. All right. Can you tell me about maybe a specific memorable moment or a game you had watching Nebraska football growing up that sticks out to you?
Some of the fondest memories I had weren't of the actual games, but all of the activities leading up to the game. I remember tailgating before home games and playing football in the parking lot with my uncles Justin and Jordan. I remember traveling to every away game in my grandparents' motor home and waiting outside the locker room to hopefully catch a glimpse of my favorite player.
Who was his favorite player? Was it his uncles?
Who was your favorite player? Joel? Oh, are you saying that because he's going to be here shortly? Yeah.
That's a smart answer. That's a smart answer right there.
That was the right answer.
I like that.
That was the right answer.
Also liked Amon Green
Mm.
and Lawrence Phillips. Because
Yeah.
Derek used to wear his football jerseys out in the backyard playing football when he was younger, and he used to put their jerseys on, and we'd go out and play catch and do things like that.
So you may be aware Amon's a part of a show here on the Ticket, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The Drive.
Yeah.
Chris Raff, AC Davis, Aaron Davis. I'm sorry about that, AD. Amon and then Nick Sainer. They do a phenomenal job. So I want to plug that show, but Amon does a great job, and obviously one of the all-time great Huskers as well. And I want to learn a little bit more about your story specifically, Derek. So tell me about your childhood and how football was a part of your life.
Football was a big part of my childhood growing up. Whether I was playing the game, watching games with my family, or growing up in a football-loving community, I was a very active outdoor kid growing up. I spent many hours playing sports with my brothers and friends in the backyard.
That is awesome. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Now, tell me, can you tell me what you remember from your injury and what took place?
I remember everything leading up to date of my injury. My body was in football condition. It already had bruises and other marks on my elbows from the hits I had taken at running back, and also from hitting people while playing linebacker. The day I was injured was a usual nothing out of the ordinary fall day in Nebraska on September 6, 2008. In the middle of the second half, while running the ball, I was tackled, and my right arm went limp, and I fumbled the ball. The coaches could tell something was wrong with me because I was never known to fumble. Timeout was called, and I went over to the sidelines, and one of the coaches, who was also a physician's assistant, began asking me questions. I answered every question correctly. Then minutes later, I screamed, my head took off my helmet and collapsed into my coach's arms. That is the last thing I remember.
So, Mom and Dad, I assume you're at the game, or at least one of you is at the game, maybe both of you.
I was actually coaching.
Okay, so when you see this, what is your reaction?
Well, when I first saw it, I knew things weren't right. So
Yeah.
we did call a timeout, like you mentioned. And then we went out to the field to one of the other coaches went out and they brought him over and they started asking him questions. And Derek was answering, the questions correctly. And then he collapsed.
Hmm.
And then, everything just happened so fast after that. So, I panicked. Of course, the gentleman that was the PA there, I leaned over to him and I said, "What's going on? Is he going to die? What's such a drastic change?" And so many things were unexpected. It was just like I lost all control.
I think that's understandable. What was your reaction? I don't know if you saw it or you heard about it. What was your reaction, Mom?
So I was actually in the stands, and initially, like Derek said, he was running the ball, and I can just really see it in slow motion. He was running along the sideline, basically wide open. And I just remember his left arm just going forward and then back, and then the ball just falling out. And I was like, what in the world is he doing? And I even turned to another mom and I'm like, what in the heck? And she goes, I don't know what just happened. And then I just had this instinct like something was wrong. Um, and so basically they called the timeout. They took him to the sidelines. I saw the other coach who was a physician's assistant talking to him. And then at that time, I basically ran to the sideline to see. And by the time I got there, he was collapsed. And then I just had someone grab me and say, get in the car, get to Brian West. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
So,
Perfectly okay.
So basically I got in a car with some friends and I left and headed to West. And then just through updates, I knew what was going on, that the life flight was coming, that he was unresponsive. So like I said, I missed out on a lot of the stuff that happened down on the field just because I left right away to get to West before he arrived. But yeah, I think it's still like you don't ever forget that stuff.
No, it seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about his recovery, but before we get to that and ultimately the book and what led to the book and everyone that's been involved, there's been a lot of cool people. There's been a pretty cool support team.
Right.
Okay. But what was the official injury called? Like, what was it? What was it?
So basically, he suffered a traumatic brain injury, which was caused by a subdermal hematoma.
Okay.
So initially, when he arrived at Brian West, he was totally unresponsive. They intubated him and stuff on the field. He was unresponsive the whole time in the life flight, unresponsive when he got to West. And so they took him immediately to CT, saw that he had swelling and bleeding on the brain, and then he was immediately taken into surgery. So right away, they removed a skull flap, like took part of his skull off.
Oh, okay. Okay.
On the left side in hopes that his brain could swell and there wouldn't be any pressure.
Okay.
Did that, and then 3 days later, his brain had continued to swell, so they had to go in and remove the right side.
Okay.
So he is kind of special. Is that the right word? Or lucky that you continue to swell, so he had to remove both. But it was technically a subdermal hematoma.
Okay.
To answer your question.
I would say from my vantage point anyways, inspirational. That's what I would say. Okay. But let's talk about your recovery a little bit. All right. What did your recovery look like and what all did it entail?
My recovery was slow, painfully slow. I don't remember much about my first 17 days in ICU, but I do remember waking up and feeling intense pain. Most of my rehabilitation memories started when I was admitted to Madonna Rehab Hospital here in Lincoln. I remember feeling scared and confused being inside a body that no longer worked and unable to communicate that. I worked hard and the days were long and grueling. I would attend speech therapy, occupational, and physical therapy twice daily and continue with rehab into the evening only to wake up the next day and start the process again. I was an inpatient at Madonna for 3 months and then moved home but returned to Madonna daily for therapy for many years.
I could only imagine what that feeling would be like, just unable to move your body the way that you want. What was that like as a parent through this recovery process? And I'm sure he has frustrations and things of that nature. What was that like for you two?
I think it was incredibly hard and difficult. We now, 1 minute you have a healthy child that's very athletic and kind of at the peak, of his life. Everything's going great. And the next minute you have someone that cannot even open their eyes. And when it initially started, He was, we were 15, 16, 17 days in ICU, and we were finally able to have him communicate with maybe like opening his eyes. Like,
Okay.
can you hear us? Can you open your eyes? And then it progressed to he was able to give us a thumbs up on his left hand, was how he communicated. But it was very gut wrenching, it was very hard. And I think one of the hardest things with traumatic brain injury and the whole recovery process is normally when you have an injury, say it's a knee injury, an ACL, there's always a protocol, or what 3 weeks might look like out, or 6 weeks you're going to be doing this. With a brain injury, no one could give us an answer. And, we had all of the questions like, what do you think he'll be doing in 3 months? What will he do in 5 months? And they kept saying, it's just a marathon. We don't know. And I think that was the hardest, is not knowing what the outcome might be or what his life would look like. And I think we just always, or I know I did right away, I thought if I can get through the next second. And then it was, can we get through another minute? And then that just started to can we get through 5 minutes? So I think that was really the hardest thing in his recovery process, is how painfully slow it is. When you said that, I'm like, yes. Yeah, it was grueling. Yes.
That makes so much sense. Anybody who's had surgery knows that, hey, I'm going to be in a boot for 4 weeks, and then I'm going to be on whatever, if it's crutches, or I'm going to walk, or I'll start jogging at week 8, or I'll start planting if it's an ACL at month 3, very slow cutting.
Yeah.
Oh, that would make it harder. Just the question marks, and you've got to go day by day, or whatever it is, week by week. And that makes a lot of sense. But just like in football, okay, you had a team that helped you recover: doctors, surgeons, family, and friends. Can you talk about the important support system that was in your healing journey, whether it be Coach Osborne, Dennis LeBlanc, Tim Clare, Bo Pelini, and anyone else?
My support system was and is unmeasurable. It was humbling when I recall all of the people that have helped me on this journey. There have been numerous doctors, surgeons, and friends that have remained part of my life. I can recall many within the Husker football family that have helped along the way. Coach Osborne was instrumental in helping me transition to Madonna Rehabilitation Hospital. After high school graduation, Dennis LeBlanc and Tim Clare helped me during my time at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Coach Pelini and I met while one of my brothers was playing baseball with his son Patrick. Bo and I would talk a lot about my injury and my faith. He understood my concerns and fears about starting my college career. He helped make it a success. He helped with my classes, let me hang out in his office, and introduced me to many players on the team.
I know you and Coach Pelini have a very close relationship. That is awesome. And I even see your face lighting up just mentioning Coach Pelini. That's awesome. All right, tell me, and we're going to bring Coach Osborne, and I just saw your cousin Joel walk in, but a couple more questions before we go to this first break. All right, tell me about your family.
I am the oldest of 5 boys. I have 4 younger brothers.
That's awesome. I love big families. I have 6 kids of my own, although 5 daughters. So my son's completely outnumbered. That's awesome. All right, Mom, I have to ask, you're slightly outnumbered. How does that work in your house?
I don't know. Like, everybody says I should be the princess and the queen, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. If they're listening, I'm like, I'd love to be one. Yeah.
I will tell you, she's the toughest one.
Okay.
So
all right.
everybody
I could see
knows,
that.
Don't mess with Mom.
I could see that.
Yeah.
So in my son's defense, we do have 2 dogs. So one of them's the male. So it's not just him. Did you have any cats of any kind?
We have a male dog. How does that work?
You're outnumbered even more. Oh,
we
boy.
got in trouble when they picked
Oh,
it up.
boy. What kind of dog?
Of course, my boys picked that. It's a little Morky Poo. So
I don't know.
Little dog.
I'm not familiar with that.
It's
Okay.
like a little poodle, Maltese, teeny tiny, like 8 pounds.
Okay.
That's the boy.
We have mini Aussie. You've seen the big Australian.
yeah.
So we have 2 of them. So,
Okay.
all right. They don't shed that bad. So I was very pleased with that. So was my wife. All right. One more question, then we'll go to break and we'll bring everyone in. And I want to get to talking about the book as well. Did your family, and I assume the answer to this is yes, but I want to hear what you have to say, Derek. Did your family play a pivotal role in getting you to this point here today?
I would not be where I am today without them.
That is awesome. It's clear your parents obviously love you as you would expect. They're very vested. And I want to ask mom and dad, having 4 brothers. All right. What's that like having 5 sons, and what's it like for Derek having 4 brothers?
I think it's pretty cool because they really all look up to Derek. You know, after Derek's accident, the thing I noticed the most is they never really gave him a break in a good way. He was still their older brother. They would argue, fight around the house, whatever the case may be. But if you mess with one of them, you're going to mess with all of them.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. And you need someone. I mean, obviously you need love and care and whatnot. But sometimes you just need somebody who's just going to treat you like a sibling. Sometimes that's a good thing too.
Right.
And they did. I mean, they treated him like that. You know, through the years, Derek's went to a lot of their sporting events, and he was their biggest fan. Still is.
That is awesome. That is awesome. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Joel Makovicka, Coach Osborne are going to join us. They're a pivotal part of this story as well. And again, the book, The 8-Minute Flight. Now, real quick, we're going to talk about it a little bit. Where can people get it, though? Where can they find it? Is there a website? What bookstore is it in? Where can they get it?
Locally, it's being sold at Gloria Deo in both Lincoln and Omaha locations. And then it is also available on Amazon.
Okay, awesome.
And yep, he has the 8-Minute Flight.com is his landing page, which gives you all the information for that.
Okay, awesome. All right, The 8-Minute Flight, the miraculous story of a boy who chose Earth instead of heaven. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Nottingham Forest plays Man City at 6:30 a.m., followed by Crystal Palace versus Ipswich Town at 9 a.m. To cap off the Saturday action, Wolves plays Everton at 2 p.m. On Sunday, Tottenham plays Bournemouth at 9 a.m., followed by Man United versus Arsenal at 11:30 a.m. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
If you're looking for a pre-owned tractor to upgrade your operation this year, you'll find a wide selection at your local Landmark Implement. We'll work with you to find the right equipment for all your needs at a price that's right for you. All backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network. During the month of February, take advantage of a 24-month waiver on select 6, 7, 8, or 9 series tractors. Visit landmarkimp.com to see our complete inventory or stop by your local Landmark location today and experience the Landmark difference.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henry's at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm joined by Derek Ruth, his parents, Royce and Jennifer. We're also joined by his cousin, Joel Makovicka, and Coach Tom Osborne as well. Now, Coach has to leave here in about 10 minutes, so I'm going to direct a few questions to him initially, and then obviously we'll chat with everyone else, including Joel. And I got a couple more questions for Derek pertaining to the book and what's in it. But Coach Osborne, how did you come to know Derek? How did you come to know the family and his story as well?
Well, primarily, I think, his dad got a hold of me. And so we visited, and, Derek is a bright guy and picks things up very quickly. And so even though we had to converse more through his dad and his parents, I found him to be a very bright guy and a guy that's had a lot of perseverance due to the things that have happened in his life, and that he's overcome a lot. So certainly have a great deal of admiration for him.
When you see a young man who's playing football, sounds like he's having the time of his life, big time Husker fan, an unfortunate traumatic brain injury occurs, not everyone would respond to that in a positive manner because it's obviously very challenging to say it the least. But here he is sitting right here. He's got like the biggest smile on his face. He's trying to inspire other people and make an impact in other people's lives in a positive manner. When you see a young man like Derek and how he is as he sits here today after everything he's been through, what's your reaction to something like that?
Well, as I said earlier, my main reaction is just a good deal of admiration for him because when something bad happens, you can go either way.
Mhm.
You can use it in a way that's positive, or you can let it tear you apart. And Derek has responded very positively, and I admire all that he's gone through and his attitude and what he's carried forward because I think he, in a certain way, has been able to inspire lots of other people. And so I think that's probably one of the things that he's been best at contributing in his life.
What do you think people can take away from the book, The 8-Minute Flight? Again, The 8-Minute Flight, the miraculous story of the boy who chose Earth instead of heaven, Derek Ruth. Okay, what do you think people can take away from this book if they read it?
Well, I think that first thing is most people would say, well, they're very fortunate that something like this has not happened. So a certain amount of gratitude. And I tend to be a spiritual person. And when somebody says that they have encountered God and have had an experience, I tend to take that to heart and believe it because those things do happen. And I know that that's been a good part of his journey. And so I think that the book, as I've read it, is certainly inspirational and something that some people would enjoy reading very much from the aspect of just overcoming adversity and also spiritual encounter.
What can you tell me through your experience with the whole family? Royce, Jennifer, mom, dad, he's got 4 siblings that treat him just like a sibling, which is obviously something we talked about, can be healing medicine as well. But through your experience, getting to know them, what can you tell me about the Ruth family?
Well, of course, I know Joel and I know Jeff a lot more. Because
that's good or bad.
Yeah. I said, go block this guy, block that guy. And most of the time they did it.
Yeah, most of the time. All right.
Yeah. And so I certainly have had a good experience with them. And of course, I've just recently gotten to know the other part of the Ruth family. And that's been rather brief compared to Jeff and Joel, which goes back quite a while.
Talk to me about Jeff and Joel. What was it like coaching them, and what's something maybe people may not know about them that they might find interesting, or what was it like coaching them in general?
Well, Jeff came as a walk-on, as I recall, and he's one of those guys that developed. The thing that I'm really concerned about right now is the proposal that the NCAA has now is pretty much going to wipe out walk-ons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're limiting to 105 scholarships. And, people develop at different rates of maturation. Some guys, when they're 17, are very different than other guys at 17.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are fully mature, and they're not going to get a whole lot better.
Yep.
And then some guys are still improve into their 20s. And Jeff was that way. He was a guy that came and wasn't real high on our radar screen, played at a very small school, but he kept working at it, getting better, and became a really good player. Joel, we realized was going to be pretty good, and I think Jeff's experience didn't hurt to have Jeff ahead of him. But Joe was really a great fullback for us. Both of them played fullback. And that position is kind of non-existent anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got an extra receiver, an extra running back. But I think people have missed something because the fullback was really critical to us. And we always had a good running game, and fullback was a big part of that.
All right, one Nebraska football question, and then I want to get back to Derek's story here. But you mentioned they're basically legislating the walk-on, and you can answer this too. They're legislating the walk-on program out of college football. They're going to 105. Everyone can be on scholarship, but they're limiting the amount of guys who can be on the team, which is going to limit those guys who would have taken longer to develop. And that's something that Nebraska football had so much success with over the years. Matt Rule's a former walk-on. It's something he wanted to continue to emphasize. How's that going to affect Nebraska football going forward, in your opinion?
Well, it's going to make it more complicated. And the thing that we did is we actually recruited walk-ons. We try to single out maybe 20 players, mostly from Nebraska, that we thought were pretty close, that had a good chance. And I'd say 50% of those guys would end up playing quite a bit for us and really made a big difference to us. And so this is a relatively sparsely populated state. It's not like Texas. It's not like Florida. It's not like California. And so that really was what gave us a shot in the arm. And the other thing, of course, that we did was we had a very good weight program. Boyd Epley was probably the first full-time strength coach. And we also did a lot of things with nutrition, a lot of things with academics. And as a result, we felt that we enabled people to develop and do well. And of course, a lot of people began to do that also. So we kind of lost that edge. But I think that it will make it a little bit more difficult if you can't have good walk-on players. And I really am sorry about that, because I can't tell you how many guys I've coached who have done really well later in life. And some of them really didn't play very much, but they will always point back to that experience as something that really was very instrumental to whatever success they had. And I think it's relatively un-American to tell somebody they can't pay their own way to school and try it, And so I'm really, really concerned about a lot of things that are happening right now in college athletics.
Un-American. That's the best way I've heard it put. It is straight up un-American. Jake, I don't have to ask all the questions here. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask at any point?
Not necessarily. I think Dr. Tom's got to get going, but we can certainly continue this conversation with everybody else.
Coach, thank you for joining us, and thank you for kind of connecting me with the family as well. Thank you very much.
Well, I had a good tour of Lincoln Getty.
So, you didn't go all the way to my house too, did you?
Yes.
Gosh. Sorry about that.
I was started there, and then I was told 110-040, and I thought, well, it's just out near Adams Place.
Yeah.
And so I saw a lot of the countryside.
You guys got here quicker than I do. I must drive slowly. I was impressed. Well, thank you, Coach.
Derek, good to see you. Good to see you guys. Joel, great to see you. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Coach. All right, Joel, talk to me about, because obviously Derek's your cousin.
Actually, he's my nephew.
What'd I say? I meant nephew. Sorry. Derek's your nephew. Okay.
Maybe we should say he's my cousin.
Yeah. Same age. They're the same age.
Yeah.
So he actually mentioned you and Jeff as one of his inspirations for why he became such a big fan of Nebraska football specifically. But what does it mean to you to see, as Coach mentioned? I mean, this is something that could have gone two different ways, and they've chosen to take it in such a positive direction and be an inspiration. But what's it mean to you when you see a young man who's turning something that was obviously unfortunate into a positive thing?
God, that's a great question. He does talk about, and I think he did look up to Jeff and I, and sometimes that's been, a little bit of, I felt like a burden, because is that something to where this is why this happened? Because our family was so big into football and we had successful careers. And I know that's something what kids wanted is to have a successful career in any of the athletics, but football became one of those things because of kind of what Jeff and I did at Nebraska and win a national championship. So, I never wanted it to be like that, because sometimes that's a big burden to say, like, hey, was he doing this just because, or was he going over and above, or was he not telling us about injuries, even as a junior high kid, because he thought it had to be so tough to play this game that he was just going out there and doing it. But, as I see Derek, and I've kind of said this in his book, and I tell people this all the time, is I probably had a harder time dealing with it than he has, and I feel bad for my younger brothers and his younger brothers, because going through something like that and seeing that, it's hard to come back and play. So if I was still in the NFL and playing when this happened, I don't know if that would be something to where I could be like, I can stick my head in there. And it's a testament to this family and to Jenny and Royce and Derek that all the younger boys played football because they wanted to play football. And it's one of those things where you see Derek, and he is a kid that handles it better than I would ever handle it. He's a kid that I kind of admire the way he's handled it and the way he's taken this all in stride, and his faith is not shaken. Because at some point, this football ends for everybody.
Mhm.
And it's not just football, it's athletics. And for everybody. It ended for me, it ended for you.
Mhm.
It ended too quick for Derek, and it still hasn't shaken him. There's been times it's probably shaken him, but I know his faith, and he's helped me in my faith because of the way he came through it and the way his positive outlook is on everything. You have to admire the kid or the young man.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The young man. I'm not going to lie to you. When I say smiley face, I look over here and he's got the biggest smiley face in the room, and that's beyond inspirational to me. But let's talk about, okay, this book is something you spent the past few years on. It's a book recounting your emotional journey of resilience and recovery called The 8-Minute Flight. Why is it called The 8-Minute Flight?
The book is called The 8-Minute Flight because that is the time it took the life flight to get to the hospital after leaving the football field in Malcolm.
So talk to me. What was your biggest inspiration to wanting to write this book and recount your experiences?
My biggest motivation for writing this book was to let people know that anything is possible with hard work, discipline, and most importantly, God.
So there's obviously a lot of things that can be taken from this book. All right. What's the biggest thing that you think readers can learn from the book, The 8-Minute Flight?
I feel like readers of my book will learn many things about me from all areas of my life. They will learn about my love of athletics, my family, and my strong faith. I share my unique experiences and the spiritual power that helped me overcome and preserve.
So what's the next step for you? Okay. Now that you have released your book, all right, what's the next step for you, Derek?
That's a good question, Adam. The initial response from my book has been overwhelming, and I have been approached by a few organizations about speaking. I would like to pursue speaking engagements to help inspire others. I also want to continue to talk to families and patients at hospitals and rehab facilities, such as Madonna, that have been in similar situations. My ultimate goal is to establish a foundation that continues to give back to others through my faith and personal experiences.
So, Mom and Dad, talk to me about anything that maybe we haven't asked yet, we haven't brought up, that you want people to know about, whether it's Derek, whether it's the book itself, or just anything that maybe we haven't discussed just yet.
I think one thing I want people to know about Derek is that everything he's been through, and Joel mentioned this, he's never quit. He kept that competitor in him, and a lot of kids look up to him. When he was right before his accident, he was, a big time leader on the football field, baseball field, whatever the case may be. And there's guys that still, reach out to him. Nate Gary texted him before the Super Bowl.
That's awesome.
A few years back. He's got relationships with, like Coach Pelini. Coach Pelini and Derek are in touch quite often and talk about things. And so just how he's reached out to people, how he's helped people, and he's just continuing to do that. Couldn't be more proud of him.
No, that's very cool. Was it the year that Nate's team, the Eagles, were playing in the Super Bowl?
No, it was, I think Nate played in there about 5 years ago. And Nate and Derek used to be in the same classes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Coach Queenie set things up. He had certain football players go to class with Derek.
Okay.
And Nate was one of those players that went with him all the time. He's a good friend of Derek.
So I have a question about the 8-minute flight. For those who don't know, it says the miraculous story of the boy who chose earth instead of heaven. Without giving away too much, what exactly does that mean pertaining to the book?
I guess without giving away too much, basically, it was at least a couple years after Derek's injury. He started to confide in us the things that were happening to him when he was in his first surgery. So he basically spent extended time up in heaven with Jesus while he was having his surgery. And the book kind of recounts some of his inspirational things that have happened to him along the way. He's had other appearances and done some pilgrimages to some other places like Lourdes and the Holy Land. And so the book talks a lot about his injury, our family, football, but I think most importantly would be your faith and kind of the determination that you've had to kind of get back to where you're at. So, yeah.
So if you're a person of faith, this book is obviously going to be great for you. If, however you feel about those things, it can be great for you because it, like hearing other people's experiences. I'm always intrigued to hear what other people's experiences are because I feel like I learn more and it can help me when I'm going through, frankly, to be honest, daily decisions in my life. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to believe in? What am I not going to believe in? Okay. So for me, this book is great for anybody out there who wants to hear about an experience like this from an inspirational young man. By the way, I love the idea of the speaking gigs. I had, for different reasons. Okay. I did speech therapy for K through 5, different reasons. Okay. I would have never thought I would do public speaking one day, yet here I sit for some reason. Dude, I think it'd be awesome. If I can ever help you with anything like that, please reach out to me. Don't hesitate. Okay. I think that's something that could reach and touch a lot of people if that's something that you're truly interested in. Okay. Joel, you help people with physical therapy for a living. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this is a unique situation. When you see the type of recovery that he had, okay, what are your thoughts on that process and just everything that he's come through to sit here and be here today in this inspirational state of mind that he's in?
Yeah, when you have a traumatic brain injury, it's a long process to get back to where you want to get and to where he has gotten. And there's a lot of times where they say you don't make gains after 1 or 2 years. Derek has continued to make gains and he sits here and he can communicate with people and he does everything he wants to do. And so, from the rehab standpoint, this is one of the biggest injuries you can have that takes the longest to come back from. And there's so many unknown things coming back from that. And that's the difficult part. And that's the difficult part that Derek went through. But, the one thing I want to say too is, being part of the Nebraska football family and, Derek was a big part of that. I remember when they used to 3 weeks old and they flew him to the Orange Bowl. So he kind of grew up with that, but, and you're part of the Nebraska football family and you know this, that Nebraskans kind of take care of themselves. And it was an unbelievable thing when he got to graduate the university and like a Dennis LeBlanc and Bo Pelini were all there to help the family and to these guys. And Derek became an inspiration to even that team. So, you know what? And I tell him all the time that this might be his trials and tribulations of what he's going through. But I mean, I'm a big faith guy and I believe, hey, he's going to heaven. I have to work for it. And I don't know if you're spiritual or Christian or Catholic, it doesn't matter, but there is something and I have to work to get there and that's not guaranteed. But what he's going through right now and the way he's inspiring people, I think he's guaranteed to do that. And so he's one of those kids that I say kid, but young man that inspires a lot of people and he inspires me.
So to be clear, I don't talk about it much because I talk sports.
Yeah.
So I stick to the topic at hand.
And you're a sports guy and I'm a sports. We're all sports guys.
Yeah. No, to be clear, I'm a big faith guy.
Yeah.
To be open and honest, I've been very up and down throughout my entire life. But at the end of the day, I am a big faith guy, and it matters to me. And like I mentioned earlier, whether you are a big faith individual, whether you're not, whether you're just trying to figure things out, like, I think this is a great book. Again, The 8-Minute Flight, the miraculous story of the boy who chose Earth instead of heaven, Derek Ruth. And I'm going to put things out on social media. If you're part of my email list, I'm going to push it out on the email list. I'll talk to DP and Rebecca. I'm sure they'll have no problem with it as well. But again, just remind folks where they can find it online and the bookstore that it's in as well.
Locally, you can purchase it at Gloria Deo in Lincoln and Omaha locations. And then it can also be purchased on Amazon. And you can look it up at the8minuteflight.com. And that would be his landing page, and it would give you all the information on there.
Okay, awesome. All right, it's interesting. You mentioned the recovery, because before you got here, they talked about the unpredictability and the question marks, and like with with an ACL, you're doing this at this point, unless you fall behind or you're ahead of schedule. You know where your goals are. This was there was so much you got to figure it out as you go along. So, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we close the show today? I don't mean to put you on the spot. If you don't, it's no big deal. I want to make sure we're giving everything to the people we can. So
No, I'm just very thankful that you allowed Derek to have the opportunity to be on the show. He's pumped about it. He was really excited. So, and as a family, we really appreciate everything you've done for him.
It's my pleasure, dude. I'm serious. You're welcome anytime. Like I'm not kidding. You're welcome. You're all
chair then.
I mean, there's plenty of seats here. Although I might have a new seat going. I'm not kidding, Jay. Can I sit here every day? I actually like this better.
Yeah, you can do that.
Then I can. There was an Ohio State guy making gestures at me earlier. I was kind in response, or as kind as I can be. But all right, until next time, Husker Nation. Go Big Red. Oh, hold on. We almost forgot Makovicka Physical Therapy. Yeah. So I don't know enough. You tell the fine folks everything they need to know real quick before we get out of here.
So if you need anything, go to MakovickAPhysicalTherapy.com. That's kind of when I retired. I went into healthcare and got my doctorate in PT and physical therapy, and we've opened 22 locations in the Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas. So want to give back to Nebraskans because they've helped our family a lot. Me. They're supportive when I was at the university. Want to give back to Nebraskans. So we have 22 locations, Lincoln and Omaha. So you can go to Makovicka PT. Shameless plug, but
I like it. I like it. I'm here for it all day. We discussed that Derek's going to get the royalties from that, though, by the way. We did discuss that. All right, until next time, Husker Nation, go Big Red, and always remember to throw the bones.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Nottingham Forest plays Man City at 6:30 a.m., followed by Crystal Palace versus Ipswich Town at 9 a.m. To cap off the Saturday action,